Sugar, glucose. I scaled my sugar, made it well, added my glucose on top. Okay. If you scale your glucose separately, put it in the microwave, it will get liquid, it's a lot easier to get out of your insert. Now, never put away chocolate like this. Never, ever, ever. So you're gonna get me mad. It's not your fault. It's the class before you guys that just finished their semester. Never put away chocolate like this. Okay? Always, always. Especially couverture. You temper it, you put it on a flat tray, wait till it starts setting or crystallizing, then you cut it into small squares. It's a lot more manageable than this shit. Okay. That's why I got the bag out. I'll let you guys use this and I'll temper this later on. Okay. We'll boil that. I pre-soaked the gelatin already. I like to work with gelatin mass. But if you work with gelatin leaves, you need to soak them up in ice cold water. We don't always have ice cold water. And to me, now we'll talk about it in theory, this is much easier. It's already soaked. Adding to the product, it smells. Everything easy. Production. So this recipe works with pretty much all types of chocolate, milk chocolate, caramelized chocolate, dark chocolate, ruby, gold. It's a recipe that was developed at the Bourbon State School in Paris by two chefs. They spent a whole month trying to develop the recipe. They developed the recipe for a couple of reasons. They wanted to have a glaze that if you glaze your product is going to be very shiny. But if you place the product in the freezer and 2 days later or the next day, you pull it back out, it's still going to remain very, very shiny. So we will talk about glazes in theory. You see the amount of sugar in here? It's extremely sweet. That's the problem. Kind of the problems with glazes, they tend to be very sweet. Not all of them, but they tend to be. Especially this one, with the amount of sugar, glucose, and caramelized chocolate, and condensed milk. Don't confuse condensed milk with evaporated milk. It's not the same. I'm not going to bring this to boil. Now you may come across this recipe in textbook, and they will say to boil it to 103 degrees Celsius. Do we need to up here?
Nope.
No, we're in altitude, right? So if we just bring it to a quick boil, to dissolve the sugar, that's enough. Now this recipe is going to be enough for two, okay? 2 people. If you want, you can do 1.5 for 3. Or if you're by yourself, do a full recipe anyway, okay? I used to let students do one single recipe, half the recipe per person. But it's a very small quantity, and when it's time to immerse blend your glazes, if you have just a little bit of glaze, it's a bit more difficult to have a nice bubble-free glaze. So that's why I say, you know what, we'll team up and we'll do it together. All right, so see, it came to a full boil. I stopped. Now everyone bear with.
So that's water, glucose, and sugar.
Yes, you first water. Okay. Add my sweet condensed milk. So yeah, it's extremely sweet. That's the sweetest part of the dessert itself. Okay. My gelatin. All of it, please. Chocolate. There's enough heat in here to melt everything. Just gonna stir that gently, okay? Don't go too crazy. You do not want to add air bubbles in here. If they're big bubbles, that's not a problem. You will be able to get rid of it. If they're micro or really tiny bubbles, you're in trouble. It becomes very difficult to eliminate. Okay. Add my cutter. I think in the recipe it said about a half teaspoon, right? Pinky, get in there. Sample, we'll do it right. As you see in the photo, it looks like we'll send that out. It's a different green. I don't like that green at all.
Too dark.
Yeah, way too dark. Yuck. Do me a favor, use the airbrush, okay? I'm gonna remake mine. This is ugly. And if you don't have to strain it, but straining it removes some of the air bubbles. We'll divide that in two. Okay. Take a piece of saran wrap, put it in contact with the glaze. When you remove the piece of saran wrap, it's going to pop some of the air bubbles. And then we'll rest that overnight in the glue. Okay? Alright, so you use this recipe for 2 people. Use this airbrush color, not this crappy color here, please. Let's do that, and then we'll